voiceover of this video. It'll probably end in a disaster, but at least you'll have a front row seat to this train wreck. Alright. So, starting out, this was late November 2019. We were making our way towards Trail 21. We had this glorious idea that we could do 21 in side-by-sides. As you can see, DB here, he's young, he got to do everything in two-wheel drive, so it's not working well for him. So I think he finally gave up and put it in four-wheel drive. Who knows? Alright, so we're top of 20. Yeah, top of 22. To the left is where 22A brings you in. It was so muddy when we went. It had rained, and we should have knew that was a bad recipe anyway. As you can see, Steve's trying to do some donuts, and it's just so wet. It's just the front end's pushing. He gave up. I mean, that's all it does was push. There's only one real way to do it. Sadly, I have to give Devin credit. He figured it out, which is basically you almost have to sit still and get the tire spinning pretty good, and then cut the snot out of it. And that little dip right there, when it's dry, you don't want to do donuts there and hit that dip, because that's usually how you land on your side. So, let's see if DB can pull this off. There's some other people watching us be fools. That's me tucked back in there because I don't want him to hit my machine with rocks and mud and God knows what else. As you can see, same thing happened to him as it was with Steve. It was pushing. It's just wet clay, man. It's slicker than snot on a doorknob. Now you see, he figured it out. He got the tires spinning good, slinging it around. There's some people in that. I didn't even get a good look. T-Rex, they lost their cooler. Steve stopped and gave them a heads up, but I think they'd already figured it out. But just a guy out with his kid out having a good time watching us be idiots. Alright, so now we're out actually on Trail 21. Just give him a love tap there, Devin. If y'all don't know, if you're curious about Steve's muffler guard stuff, Steve does custom cages and different metal work for side-by-sides. He probably does it for a lot more, I don't know, but you can look him up on Facebook. His business name is Ball Peen Hammer. So, as you can tell, he did his own cage. He actually did the rock sliders on my Turbo S, and then he put a loop bar on the back so I could mount my radio. Because like most people, you know, a radio is more important than a winch. So I had to put a radio in first. So, and as usual, Devin's hitting trees. He did that with us on Trail 75 up Walton's Ridge once. Knocked a hole in the side of his tire. Let's see. As y'all can tell, or if you can, maybe I try to cut out most of the waste and try to at least give you the good clips to watch. Sometimes I put a transition in there, sometimes I don't. I just cut it and move on. So this part of it, it was muddy as all get out, but it's also pretty rutted. So we got a couple of different angles here from cameras, because I had one on Devin's Razor and I had one on mine. Actually, I don't think I had it on mine. I think I just carried it with me. So Steve was up here trying to get out of this. And Steve's a little different than most. He likes his razor to set lower. Some people do it because their tender springs collapse, but he likes his to set lower and have better handling. So we call it the belly dragger. So it got him there a little bit. As you can see, I just used a transition there. He wound up getting a little bit better run and hitting it. Devin makes a clean shot. Didn't look too bad, but that was pretty stinking rutted out. I think Devin running 32s, and he's pretty wide, so he able to get out of the ruts for the most part. Right here, the sign, obviously Trail 21. Well, you can't see it the way it's videoed, but you can go back and pause and look if you want. So typically, we just pick a trail, and hey, if it's rough, we want to go hit it. This was the first one though that bit us in the ass.
We'd probably be stacking some rocks.
These were probably 3 foot or close to it. I mean, they were nasty. And you couldn't find a good line. It looked like if you, from this angle, if you stayed far left, which would be the passenger side coming up, it looked like if you went there, you could pick a pretty good line. But there really was not a good one that you felt confident that you were not going to tip over or slide off. And the rocks, those rock ledges were spaced just enough you couldn't get your full side-by-side up on one and before you hit the other one. And so we could not figure out a good line. Poor old Tricky Nicky, we got him to go first. Out of 4 side-by-sides, Nick's the only one with a winch. So we're winching him up, or he's winching himself up right there. That's why it looked like it's about to tip over. The other thing that you can't tell is see where Devin and I are standing over there on the edge. As you get over to that edge, it's been so much rain and stuff. It's so soft that you'll see it here in a little bit. You get too much weight on the edge of it, it just starts to go out from under you. Usually you can ride pretty close to the edge and the ground doesn't give way, but as much rain as we had late 2019 into 2020, just no hope. Run out of winch there, buddy. Probably should have done something besides stand there and watch you smoke the tires. There we go. Look at us. We're being active now. Move the strap, because we want to save the trees. Synthetic rope anyway, so not still. Nick was the first. Now, while we were there, these guys came up behind us. These guys are really nice. We just like, look, we're going to struggle. We'll get out of your way. And they offered to let us keep going, and we were like, yeah, that's a waste. And then B, they offered, hey, we'll get up there and winch you guys up. So very nice of them, and we appreciated their help and understanding. They were super nice guys. So this guy in this Jeep, he's the first one to hit it. There's 3 total. And as you can see, if you remember back, even Nick's rig got turned like this Jeep pointing up, because between the wet, you spin and your rear end just slides out and kicks the rear end down the mountain and puts your nose up towards the top. I don't know what size tires he's got running, but they were good size tires, definitely trail capable machines. And so he went and tried a different line as well, trying to stay, like I said, to the passenger side. There's not a good line. Now they're trying to make sure they don't rip out a drive shaft or something on that stuff, on those rocks. That one of those points kind of goes out into a bit of a point. Great little thing to hang up an axle or trailing arm on a side-by-side. So the other Jeep made it. He had to winch, which made us feel a little bit better about our predicament, because those machines were a lot bigger than our side-by-sides. But this gentleman here, he had actually just gotten this Jeep. It's a Jeep front end. I don't know what kind of chassis or anything else, but he had just gotten it, so he was out bringing it out for a test. I think they were supposed to go up to the Hatfield-McCoy trails in December. And so they wanted to do a shakedown, see how it did. We actually wound up seeing them later in the day. I think they might have been coming out the rest of 21, because what they wound up telling us was, this part's rough, but once you go up around the turn and start to go up the mountain again, it's even worse. But we saw them. Man, they were coming out on, I think it's P1, the main road that goes up by the general store towards the top, straight up the mountain. They were up the mountain a good ways. They were coming out a trail that was coming out onto P1, and I wanted no part of the trail they were on. If that was the rest of 21, maybe it was, I don't know. And again, another one had to winch, made us feel better. So we saw them, they were coming out. He had a couple things mess up on that machine, which is why he was doing the shakedown, and we offered to help them. They didn't need it. They were just fixing things and putting it back together, about to pull back out on the road. So this guy's like, hey, we'll just winch you guys up. And we're like, okay. This is before we found out that the next phase of the rough stuff we were about to hit was horrible. You can see Devin's front end, man, he just can't hardly get up on that rock. It's between being wet and being such a big lip, it's hard to get up it. Yeah, see the other Jeep's winching him there because he was so close to that edge and it just started to slide away. I was like, that's great. These guys are going super nice trying to help us, and now they're about to slide off the mountain. source of this, trying to get Devin up, that's where the thumbnail of this video came from. Is he snapped his front CV axle, and we wound up just pulling the axle out. Alright, so this last guy going up, he was the only one that didn't need a winch. It went great. He got real close with his drive shaft hitting at one point. Steve and I was over there kind of helping him, helping him understand how close or how much clearance he had or didn't have.
Boys and girls.
Here's me trying to go up what's not really rough. It's muddy, like I said, but the tires that come on the turbo, it's those Coyote ATVs. If it's a little wet to drive, they really perform well, really do. But when it's wet like this, there's no side lugs or nothing. It's like driving on ice.
Not necessary.
Now we're bringing Nick back down after he winched up, because after what those guys told us that it gets worse, we're just like, yeah, we don't have anything for a Trail 21. And again, I'm told some guys have been up it in side by side in razors and they can do it. And I haven't seen it, but the people they're telling me, it wouldn't surprise me. I think they're running 34, 35-inch tires, so maybe that's the difference. Or maybe they're just, that's the difference, and they're smarter than us and don't go up there after it's been raining like it's down a freaking 40 days and 40-night flood. So we thought getting up this was tough. Bringing Nick off this dang ledge was a little bit, for me anyway, it was unnerving. I'm trying to stand over there and put my little fat butt over there to help kind of balance the weight out. Make sure he doesn't tip and roll down the hill, because he rolls off that mountain, I can tell you, even if he's scot-free, my wife and my sister-in-law are going to kill me for letting him do it. So keeping him healthy and safe is obviously in my best need.
Go to 21, they said. It'll be fun.
Yeah, whose idea was this?
Devin.
I don't know that we had fun. To get out there with just one broke CV, and considering it's Devin, because he always breaks stuff, we felt very fortunate. We were like, yep, we're done. See you, bye. And if somebody can take a razor up that with 32-inch tires, you're a hell of a better driver than me, my friend. And that ain't saying much, because I'm a terrible driver, but I'll talk trash like I'm a great driver. So that's the end of it, boys and girls. We rode around a little bit, but we didn't do nothing real adventurous after that. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.